Today, police made a shocking discovery in Poughkeepsie.
You gotta get the film back home, Alex! Think of the film!
Found footage. Is it fun and effective? Is it a low budget, low effort way to get scares and sometimes not scares at all? Well, yes. I'm going to go through a few of the well-known found footage horror films and let you know if they're worth your time and your Dramamine, because God knows you're gonna need it. Let's start with arguably the most famous found footage film and the one that kind of started it all. Well, actually, I guess that was Cannibal Holocaust. More on that later. But this is the one that really started it all and really defined the genre that we love and hate and sometimes love to hate. A lot of people really hate this genre, like a lot. But there are good ones. And I think that the Blair Witch Project is in the good category. It's arguably the most famous one of all time. And for a reason. It's not necessarily my favorite one, as above, so below, but it's good, okay? While most people who watched the Blair Witch Project for the first time within the last 20 or so years, I would say, would maybe call it mediocre, I challenge that. I'd argue that with the oversaturation of found footage films in the genre now, someone looking back on it might call it, kind of mid. Not too scary, nothing remarkable, but people lost their shit when this came out. It was so original. People did not know how to take it. Because the viral marketing campaign was so well done, so many people went to the theater thinking that this was real, that this was actually found footage, and that what they were seeing was missing people playing out on the screen. Packed theaters. People freaked out. It was truly a moment in horror history. Yes, there are other found footage films that have done it better over the years. As above, so below. But the magic that was the Blair Witch Project was really a special moment in time. Plus that ending scene of the guy in the corner, it was just so effective. It was good, it was simple. It just worked. Each day that passed in the movie, when nightfall would start to happen, you knew it was gonna get worse. It was just progressively getting worse. And I love that shit. I love that shit. I love when your body tightens up at the nighttime scenes in a movie, and then as soon as the sunlight comes out, you're like, okay. And that's what this movie was all about. It really was that. Then they hammered you in the ass with that creepy as fuck but very simple ending, and the world was taken by storm by the Blair Witch Project. So much so that it really, once people started to talk about it, once late night shows, once people figured out, okay, this is a fake movie, this is not real, it kind of became a joke. Everybody was parodying it. I'm sure you've seen parodies of people doing the shaky cam. Even in The Office, Michael Scott does it.
I am so scared.
Mwah. Chef's kiss. They did do a sequel of sorts in 2016 just called Blair Witch. And I liked that one as well. It follows the main girl from the first one, Heather. Her brother is leading this group of friends to try to find his sister, who hasn't been seen since the events of the first movie. And it all just sort of spins out of control. And the last 15-20 minutes of the movie are really tense, and I really enjoyed it. It genuinely scared me, which not a lot of movies can do these days. I did see it in a movie theater completely alone in the middle of the afternoon on a weekday, which is my favorite way to view horror. But yeah, the tension was so good. If you're somebody that doesn't like the shaky cam, both of these movies, you're probably gonna get a little sick, but well worth it, I would say. Two very solid. Obviously, the Blair Witch Project is higher up in my mental list than Blair Witch, but I feel like Blair Witch 2016 was very overlooked at the time, and people just kind of expected it to be a flop. And it was not a flop. Now let's go to a film from the overrated/bad category. I've kind of separated these into my top 5, ones I really like, ones that I would recommend, and then ones that are very low on my list I think are either bad or extremely overrated. And I'm well aware that I'm gonna get pushback on this one, but it's my opinion, okay? I'm not gonna pretend like I like a movie just because it's well liked in the horror world, so I don't wanna hear it. I don't wanna hear it, okay? It's my show, it's my opinion, I can say what I want. Let me know what you think in the comments. Cannibal Holocaust. Blech. What is there to say about this one, really? Yes, it was basically the first found footage movie ever. And much like Blair Witch Project, Everyone thought this one was real too. In fact, so much so that the director was charged with murder in Italy because the Italian government was so convinced that the gore and the effects were so good that he couldn't possibly. This was a snuff film. The director actually had to bring in the actors into court and show that they have actually been alive this whole time and see it was just a movie. And he actually made them sign these contracts, these documents that said that once filming once filming ceased, they were not allowed to be seen in public or act in anything else for the following year, just so that he could really kind of like sell this idea that this was real. And it worked. Deodato, the director of this movie, was cleared of all charges in the end, obviously. Though the film was still banned in a lot of countries because of the overall grisly, dark nature of the film and the fact that they actually kill animals in this movie. Boo, tomato, tomato. Now, with all of that being said, you would think with how intense everybody says this movie is, it would be really crazy to watch, you know? Like, oh, prepare yourself. It's crazy. You're not gonna believe what you're seeing. In fact, I avoided it for many years because I just thought it was gonna be too gross for me. I had some PTSD left over from watching a Serbian film, and I was like, depressed for a while after that, and I was like, you know what, no, I'm not gonna like ruin my life with these horrible movies. Although I am working on a video that's gonna come out soon where I watch like the top 5 worst horror movies, like most disturbing of all time, so I'm about to dive back into that, but that's neither here nor there, okay? So anyway, I avoided it because everybody said it's so extreme. And it is very gory and it is extreme, but it's also very boring. Boring. So much boring, so much yawn, so much like get it over with. How did they make a movie with so much gore and rape and mutilation so boring? Like, it's a feat. It's truly a feat. It reminded me of like a movie I would watch in school. That's how bored I felt watching it. With all those extreme things you're seeing, you should like not feel so bored, I feel like. I mean, my God. Cannibal Holocaust tells the story of a group of documentary filmmakers who go missing after they trek into the Amazon rainforest to make a movie about cannibal tribes. Okay, cool. We're there, we're trekking. That sounds good. After their footage is uncovered, an American TV news station decides to air the tapes. Okay, cool. And the rest of the movie follows the recovered footage. The end. Lots of extended rapey shots and, you guessed it, cannibalism. But the cannibalism is just kind of underwhelming. I don't really know how else to put it. Say what you will about how this is a look into the horrors of humanity and the dark side of human beings, and like, yeah, sure, I guess. But like, can we make it drag on a little less? And can we not kill actual animals on screen? Just some thoughts. Just saying. If you love it, I'm happy for you. I just don't love it. Back to the good ones, though. Have you ever wished you were there on the day of the Jonestown Massacre while Jim Jones was passing out the Flavor Aid? It was not Kool-Aid, it was Flavor Aid. What do you think that man's made of money? True story. Who among us hasn't wished for that? To be there on the day that history was made. Well, with the 2013 release of the movie Sacrament, now you too can feel like you were there. An investigative team travels to this compound. I think it's called like Eden or something like that. One of the guys in the investigative team, his sister is in the cult, and he's kind of going to like check it out, make sure she's good, because she's been kind of like retracting and acting weird, you know, cult shit. And the cult is led by a dangerous fanatic who maintains like an iron grip on his followers. This movie is basically exactly what happened during the Jonestown massacres, like almost to a T. And it actually features actual audio from the event, so that's just another thing that just kind of makes it a little bit more visceral, a little bit more just like, ooh. Oh. Because, yeah, it's horrific audio. If you've ever heard any of the audio from when the Flavor Aid was being... And it was Flavor Aid. It wasn't Kool-Aid. Look it up. When the Flavor Aid was being passed out, you know, it's just horrific. People choking, vomiting, people screaming, trying to run. It's just awful. And, I mean, the cult in this movie, the cult leader, looks exactly like Jim Jones. I mean, look at this guy. Look at these glasses. Look at that hair. Look at his little pudgy, stupid body. Apologies to the actor. It's also directed by Ty West, and as far as found footage goes, it's really like leagues ahead. It's a very good, and I feel like people never really talk about it. I feel like it kind of flew under the radar. I just kind of watched it on a whim, and I was blown away. It also doesn't suffer a ton of the things that people often complain about with found footage, such as like the shaky cam, not being able to see anything, all that stuff. Like it is, I'm sure there's some of that in there, but it is very sturdy. Also, there's no really like cheap scares, you know? None of that fluffy, cheap bullshit. Sometimes found footage can just be like cheap scares. This doesn't have that. This feels like very actually scary in like a real world kind of way, and just very unsettling and disturbing. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I was super impressed with this one. But whatever you do, please do not check out this next one. Megan is missing. First of all, the first 80% of this movie is not scary and poorly acted by the very young actresses, and that's nothing against them. They're just very young, and it seems like poorly directed. It follows a teenager, I can't remember her name. She's just kind of main character girl, teddy bear girl. And her best friend, Megan, goes missing after she had been talking to what she believed to be a fellow teenage boy.
How do you do, fellow kids?
So she goes to meet with him, and then she's never seen or heard from again. The friend of Megan, teddy bear girl, then tries to follow the trail to find Megan, and she ends up in a horrific sex dungeon, waiting to be used and either trafficked and or killed. She is viciously while she holds her teddy bear and cries, and there's blood, and it's just like I feel queasy talking about it. They feature images of the actresses in like sex contraptions with their mouths all spread and like chained up and in a head in a block, and their faces just look horrified, and the whole thing just feels extremely exploitative and just gross, especially because the actresses themselves are so young. And I mean, they had to physically get in these contraptions to take these pictures, and it just, like, when you see the pictures, it's just like, bleh. Bleh. It really felt like the director himself has some problems, let's put it. And I know there's people out there that say, well, you know, these things really happen, and it's, you know, kids need to be scared into knowing that these things really happen, and it sheds a light on the horrors of the world. And like, yeah, you're right, but it feels like we can accomplish that in a less exploitative way, you know? If you're a good enough director, cinematographer, writer, you can do that in a more artistic, more unique, more thought-provoking way. It's not an excuse for just garishness for garishness sake. I hate that shit in horror. It's like, yeah, that's a good topic and that's a good lesson for kids to learn, but like, it just feels exploitative. It just felt like they weren't even trying. Like, I like dark shit, but do it with a little razzle-dazzle and don't phone it in. That's all I'm asking. And I don't feel like that's too much to ask. Creepy directors of the world. Ow. Now to counteract my seething hatred for that movie with some probably, okay, it is definitely number one on my list. It is definitely my favorite of any movie on this list. My favorite found footage horror movie of all time. It is As Above, So Below. When I say I love this movie, I cannot even begin to tell you. I've watched it so many times. I never get tired of it. It's such a comfort movie for me, and it's just, I love it so much. It has everything. The catacombs, gates to hell, treasure hunts, French people, but not too many of them, treasure hunts, references to Nicolas Flamel and alchemy, treasure hunts, and even romance. There's a little romance in there. And it's spooky as hell. It's so good. What more can there be? What more could you want? Here's a quick little synopsis for you. Archaeologist Scarlett Marlowe has devoted her whole life to finding one of history's greatest treasures, Flamel's Philosopher's Stone. If anybody, you know, look it up if you don't know what it is. It's pretty cool. According to legend, the artifact can grant eternal life and turn any metal into gold. When she learns that the stone is hidden underground in the catacombs of Paris, she assembles a crew to guide and document her historic mission. As they begin their descent, the team members have no way of knowing that they are entering their own personal hell. The movie is exactly what I would believe hell to be like. Like, if hell is real, that this is more close to what it would be like rather than like little red devils poking you with sticks and whipping your back and pouring piss on you, like I learned about in church. And I'm not kidding about that pouring piss on you part. I actually went to one of these things, like here in the South, they do this thing called like hell houses and different things. They usually do it around Halloween, but it's basically like a walk through hell kind of thing. And there's actors playing out, this sounds so demented, but there's actors playing out these different like scenarios of like people who, what they did in life and how they ended up in hell and what their torture is and stuff. It's actually so fucked up now that I think about it. But one of them truly left a mark on me, and I have to tell you about it just really quick before we get back to the movie, because the movie's good. But this is weird. We went to one, I was maybe like a junior or senior in high school, and one of the guys who was being tortured, I'll just tell you what he did first, okay? He was a child molester, okay? Some dark shit for church. He molested children, and the children that he molested throughout the rest of their lives would wet the bed, okay? Like, it's a common thing that kids who have been through that experience. And so his personal torture in hell was that demons were constantly drowning him in the piss of the kids that he abused.
Bruh. FBI, open up!
Yeah. I honestly don't know why I ever left the church. Just can't. I still wrap my mind around that. That's crazy. So this version of hell is not like that. It's much more mental, like your own personal things that haunt you and stuff, and not necessarily all the other people can see that stuff. It's very much like a mental hell for you, and that just existing forever and ever. Like, you really lose your concept of time. You're just in this constant distress, and that's what I think. If hell exists, that's probably what it's like. There's so much spookiness in this movie too, so many great spooky scenes, and the hunt for the Philosopher Stone, like the treasure hunt heart of this movie is what makes it so fun to watch, because it's like, it's action. I love a treasure hunt. I love a scavenger hunt. Don't ever invite me to one of those things unless you want to see me go to jail, because I love to hunt for treasures. I'm like a human crow. Caw-caw. And the fact that there's so much like alchemy in this movie, it really made me become sort of an alchemist nerd. Like, I wanted to make my own Philosopher Stone. Apparently you can, it just takes a lot of piss and shit and blood. And you have to get the temperatures just right. And I'm not a scientist. I mean, even the title of this movie is an ideology that fascinates me. As above, so below is an hermetic axiom that suggests a mirroring or a correspondence between the macrocosm, the larger universe, and the microcosm, the smaller individual. It implies that principles and laws governing the universe also apply to human life and the inner world. So, I mean, that's one interpretation of the meaning of it. There's so many, but it's just very like, you know, it's like spiritual shit. I'm very spiritual. I mean, consider the fact that neurons in your brain are structured quite similarly to the cosmic web of the universe. That shit gets me wet. Please, for the love of God, check out this movie if you haven't already. It's so good. I cannot say enough good things about it. Even if you don't like found footage movies, I feel like you're gonna like this one. I feel like it's gonna turn you around. All right, moving on. And I know this one is gonna be controversial, but the Poughkeepsie Tapes. Boo, boom, boom. I know this one is pretty well loved in the community, and I get it. I really do. Like, I really get it. I get you guys. I'm with you 100%. But there's just something about it that I just don't connect to. I really can't explain it. I can't verbalize it in a really good way, which is like, you know, part of the job here, but I can't explain it. I don't connect with it. It has everything that I should like in a movie. The summary is fantastic. The film is presented as a documentary featuring interviews with police and FBI officials. Police officers raid a house in Poughkeepsie, New York, where they discover over 800 tapes created by serial killer Edward Carver, which present a visual record of his murders from the abduction to the post-mortem mutilation of the victim. Despite the volume of evidence, Carver is careful not to be shown on film unless fully disguised, leading to police and law enforcement beginning an investigation into the whereabouts of both him and his victims. I like the idea of it. I like everything I just heard. I was super stoked to watch this after like hearing what it was about. And then I watched it and I was just kind of like, meh. I just found myself left with want. Like I said, it has a lot of the things that I like in a found footage movie, but I just still, I just don't care about it, and I can't force myself to care about it. Believe me, I've tried. I don't even hate it. I just feel nothing about it, which is almost worse. I will say the ending is pretty good. That's all I'll say. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The ending's pretty good. But I just don't care about it, man. So roast me in the comments for this one. Maybe you can help me learn to love it, but probably not. Okay, now for one that is in my better movies category and one that truly kept me awake at night for a little bit. The Fourth Kind. I love an alien found footage movie. I love an alien anything, really. I'm a simple girl. And this alien found footage movie is by far the scariest one I've ever seen. I actually walked out of the theater when I saw it for the first time because I was just so unsettled. And that's hard for me to admit because I don't walk out of a lot of movies because they're scary, like ever. I think it's just that one and, oh, I did walk out of It Follows, but I'll tell that story another time. There's a reason. Someone was creeping me out in there. I watched it at home after I walked out of the theater seeing it. And again, when I saw it, I was in high school. Like, I wasn't as broken and empty as I am now. So, like, things still kind of scared me then. And I watched it again at home afterward, and I've seen it a few times since then. And it always leaves me feeling just anxious and shaken. And I think it has something to do with the sound design. Like, I really do. I think they're using something in the sound design that just vibrates your guts or something. And like what they use when they try to like break up crowds, they use like a certain wave that emits like, I don't like it, I don't like it. And I swear there's something in that sound design that does this, but I can't tell you what it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I recently found out that they reference actual missing persons cases from that area of Alaska. And apparently it upset a lot of people because they didn't ask permission, they didn't talk to any of the families, and they kind of like exploited those cases. And that's not cool. That's not cool. That being said, the elements that make this movie based on true events, actually, you know, there is some weight to that statement because these are real people that went missing. The reenactment scenes are definitely a little campy, definitely a little cheesy. The film is a pseudo-documentary purporting to be a dramatic reenactment of true events that occurred in Nome, Alaska, in which a psychologist uses hypnosis to uncover memories of alien abduction from her patients and finds evidence suggesting that she may have been abducted as well. Oh. This film did raise some like real existential dread for me during a scene in which one of the aliens is like kind of possessing somebody and talking in, not Somalian, Sumerian, which is like an ancient language, I'm told. And that ending, just holy shit, it took me out, shook me to my core. I have no problem admitting that I am God. That's what the aliens say. It's way spookier than I just said it. Because once the aliens kind of posture that they're actually God and that there is no God, they are God, there's just this whole, you know, like existential dread. Like I said, like you're just like, well, what is my life? It took me down an ancient astronaut theory kind of rabbit hole because at the time I was pretty young. I think I was like 15 or 16 when I saw this in the theater. And I was a very good Christian girl at the time, and I never heard this theory that like maybe aliens, you know, like have something to do with us being here. And I was just like, that can happen. And so I went into this whole rabbit hole about that, and it really shook me up for a while. Like my whole belief system was kind of like, what is life? So this movie is scary for me on a couple different levels just because of like where I was in my life at the time. And I think every time I watch it since then, I am just kind of put back in that place. But there is something truly just like unsettling about the movie itself. And I really do think it's that sound. So, you know, some love it, some hate it. But I, like I said, can confidently say it did scare the shit out of me. Speaking of God, let's talk about some devil shit. The devil inside. What a crock of shit. Okay, I'm just gonna like breeze through this one because I don't even really want to talk about it. Like, it's that bad. But there's something really funny about the ending of it that I just couldn't help but not include. So I'm just going to breeze through, like, the synopsis, okay? Basically, this mom has 4 demons in her. Daughter goes to some priests, one handsome priest and, like, a doctor priest. And they do an exorcism. They go to a mental hospital and they do the exorcism. After the exorcism, things are just not going good for everybody. The daughter starts acting weird, and Dr. Priest, he's like flipping out. He tries to drown a kid during a baptism or something. After the baptism, the Dr. Priest escapes the authorities, and he goes back to his house with the handsome priest. They live together. It's like an odd couple situation. The family is there, and they confront Dr. Priest, and he flips out, and he reveals, like, oh, I'm possessed, too. The cops show up to arrest that Dr. Priest because of the baptism thing, but he ends up killing himself. The daughter of the mom has a seizure, and they try to rush her to the hospital. At the hospital, the daughter flips out and kills a nurse, revealing that she too is possessed. And then handsome priest tries to go take her to his boss priest. During the car ride there, though, the daughter flips out and does some magic to the driver, forcing him to sleep or die. They crash the end. Now you don't have to watch it. Also, at the end of the movie, which is what I was talking about a second ago, it ends insanely abruptly, too, by the way. You're just like, okay, so what happens? Then a website goes up on the screen. It just abruptly ends, website comes up, and it's like, to see the rest of the movie, go to this website. I didn't see this in the theater. I saw it afterward, and I tried to go to the website, and it's just a broken link. So... great job, you guys. Great job. Just a money grab and a poorly executed version of musical chairs for demons, because I guess demons just hop to person to person to person, and then they crash a car, and then you never get to know it finds out because of demons. But if you want that good devil shit, you should watch Late Night with the Devil. So this movie is technically considered found footage, but it does it in a new and very interesting, unique, creative way, which I love. Break the mold. You'll like it if you hate shaky cam found footage, because this one is a found footage of a late night talk show that got out of control. Spooky shit happened, and they had to, like, bury the tape. So you're seeing just like the tape of the episode that it happened. So it's done with, like, a production studio quality cameras and stuff. I mean, it does take place in the 70s, but you don't get the shaky cam, is what I'm saying. That way, it's, shot very nicely, and it's stable, and you're not gonna get all sick. In 1977, a live television broadcast goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. That's all I really want to say about the plot, because if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go in blind. The less you know, the better, and just watch it. And if you have seen it, you know why I'm saying that. As far as the spookiness goes, it's so fun. And there are legitimately chilling parts in this movie, but it overall just feels so fun and spooky and cool and fun. It's such a roller coaster of stuff and information that you're getting, and it features just like demons, hypnotism, hallucinations, poltergeists. By the end, it's all tied together in such a nice little bow. It did a really great job of breathing some life into the found footage genre again, which I feel like had kind of gotten stale. Like, it was just oversaturated with them for a while, and it was just like, okay, yeah, like, they got very formulaic, And this one really broke the mold, and it, like I said, it just breathed a breath of life into the genre itself. So, great job on that. They also showed that you can do found footage in a unique and artistic way, and still present a really great story in the process. Like, well done, honestly. So good. That concludes my list of best and worst / most overrated. But before I go, I do want to touch on a couple that didn't make the list, but I just kind of want to, like, do a little quick hit about, tell you my thoughts. Paranormal Activity. Everybody knows about Paranormal Activity. I actually really enjoy the series, and I rewatch it from time to time. It was quite scary when I saw them in the theater. I remember that thing like Blair Witch Project did, where it's like once it gets dark, your body kind of tense up a little bit, and then once the light happens, you're like, okay, it's okay. And it's just constantly building that tension throughout the whole thing. I really enjoyed that. I had a really great theater experience in all of those movies. It's just fun when people get scared in the theater, and they were. I feel like the pacing is good in most of these. Like, they do a solid job of constantly be elevating the spookiness and the tension and stuff, and I feel like they do that well. My favorites are probably Paranormal Activity 2, and actually, surprisingly, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. It's surprisingly good. I did not expect it to be because it's kind of a sister movie to the main Paranormal Activities. It tells a totally different story from Katie and the baby and all that stuff. And because it's kind of a sister movie to the main ones, those usually aren't very good. Next of kin. But this one is surprisingly good. I was happy I saw it. The Creep series, solid series, and Mark Duplass is great in it. He's awesome. I like the plot where the videographer comes to make a little video for this guy who presents himself as dying, and that kind of is what puts the videographer in this awkward position, and kind of keeps him there because this guy seems just kind of eccentric at first, but he's affable and kind of charismatic and weird enough to make you think like, okay, well, maybe he's just kind of an eccentric guy. And then once things really start to get crazy, it's fun. It's really fun. Cloverfield. Cloverfield was one of my first big obsessions, and really got me into monster shit. I'll never forget the marketing for this movie. It was so mysterious and so alluring. I just wanted to like see the monster. I just wanted to know what it was. And one of the commercials for it was just like the images. One of the first images for it was just the Statue of Liberty's head knocked off, and it's just like, what does that mean? What is that? And J.J. Abrams was really good back in the day at making you just really want to see it, you know, with very little marketing, like almost no marketing. Less is more, and it worked on me. I wasn't disappointed in the creature design either, which usually sometimes I can be kind of a hard ass on those kind of things, but I really liked the creature design. It also has funny parts, mainly from the guy who's holding the camera, HUD, and I actually really like the little love story that's in it. It just felt cute, and I wanted somebody, you know, I was like 15 when this came out, I think, and I just wanted somebody to risk their lives running through the city to come save me in an apartment where I was crushed. And I still want that. Save me. Plus, seeing New York in that state was really fun. Seeing the Statue of Liberty get her head chopped off by like a huge monster tail. I mean, can you beat that? That's just... I can't not love that even if I tried. It's just part of who I am. I did watch The Bay, actually, last night when I was still kind of prepping for this video, just in case, because a lot of people have it on their list and a lot of people really like that movie. I was just kind of meh about it. Meh. It felt like it could have gone harder on the body horror aspect. And it's kind of hilarious that the whole thing happened because chicken shit is being dumped too close to the water, and it causes those parasite little bug things that go in fish's mouths and kind of become their tongues. You know what I'm talking about. It causes them to grow into bigger ones, and they want humans now because we're drinking the water, so they get in us and then they do the thing. The parasites should have been King Kong sized, and then talk to me. Still on my list to watch is Lake Mungo and Wreck. I've seen Quarantine, kind of meh on Quarantine. I've heard Wreck is way better. Heard good things about Lake Mungo, but again, it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, sounds like one I'm probably not gonna like, but I'll give it a shot. So I'll update you guys when I watch those and let you know what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Please, in the comments, tell me what your favorite found footage horror movie is, and also the ones that you've just f***ing loathe, the ones that you cannot stand. I love hearing y'all's opinions on stuff. It's just so fun how everybody just has different interests, different likes, and that's what makes this tapestry of America so beautiful and intricate, you know? All right. See you guys soon.